Canada, to wear us down, to break us so that America can own us. That will never happen. And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada. We're all on the same page. We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away.
Britain's King Charles was admitted to hospital for a short time on Thursday after experiencing side effects from cancer treatment. That's according to Buckingham Palace. The palace declined to give any details of the side effects, but a royal source described the setback as a, quote, minor bump in the road. The source said the king's recovery was continuing in a very positive direction and that he was in good form. The palace said he had returned to his home, Clarence House, and that as a precaution, his engagements for Friday would be rescheduled. The 76-year-old king has been undergoing treatment since he was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February last year.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Rayan Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow and S&P 500 both dropping about 0.33% and the Nasdaq shedding more than 0.5%. President Donald Trump's mercurial tariff policies have created uncertainty on Wall Street and continue to fuel fears of a global slowdown. Ben McMillan is Chief Investment Officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors.
Generally seeing a lot of investors, repricing growth, repricing the AI trade, starting to favor more defensive stocks. And again, all of this is, directly tied to concerns about what the tariffs are going to look like. I joked to an investor earlier this morning that, markets don't like tariffs, markets don't like uncertainty, and markets hate tariff uncertainty.
Trump's plan to implement a 25% tariff on imported cars rocked shares of automakers. General Motors tumbled more than 7%, and Ford slid almost 4%. Shares of car parts manufacturers Aptiv and Borg-Warner also suffered substantial losses. But shares of Tesla were spared, edging up modestly, as investors bet the electric vehicle maker will be hurt less by tariffs because of its largely domestic production. Other movers included Lululemon Athletica, which closed higher but plummeted more than 10% in extended trading after the apparel company forecast annual revenue and profit below estimates as a refresh of its product line has failed to attract more customers. And shares of Dollar Tree jumped 11% as several analysts raised their price targets a day after the discount retailer said it sold its struggling Family Dollar business for about $1 billion. Investors on Friday will focus on the February Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, the Federal Reserve's favored inflation gauge.
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. From a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
Ernie Simmons owns an Atlanta store selling auto parts, one of the targets of U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff plans. His business, Aftermarket Auto Parts, relies heavily on imports from Taiwan. But Simmons says he's not worried.
As far as the tariffs go, I really don't have a problem with them. And the reason is, number one, I think that they're going to be temporary, because all that Trump is trying to do is make things equal. Whatever they charge us, we're going to charge them.
90% of Aftermarket's inventory is from Taiwan, according to Simmons, but he's optimistic that the tariffs will lead to a wider change.
I think there's going to be some pressure on us for a little while, but I also believe that these countries will come to the realization that they're not going to get a free ride anymore, and they're going to have to treat us when we export something to them the same way that we treat them when they import to us.
On Wednesday, Trump announced he'd make good on threats of new tariffs aimed at cars. He's planning a 25% import tax on vehicles not built in the U.S. to kick in next week. Then, duties on parts will roll out by May 3rd. Engines, transmissions, and electrical components are all identified as targets in a Trump proclamation. Vehicles and parts made in the U.S. will be exempt. While Simmons is brushing off the impact he'll feel, some experts say these tariffs could shake up the whole industry. Tibor Besedes, a professor of economics at Georgia Tech, says they create uncertainty across the supply chain.
Will there be a different administration 4 years down the road? They might do away with them, in which case they have to evaluate whether it makes sense to build a factory in the United States and then bring it online, and that might take anywhere up to 2 years, and then what happens if tariffs go away?
The tariffs, jumping from a current 2.5% to 25% rate on imported cars, take effect a minute after midnight on April 3rd on the U.S. East Coast. Loretta Acosta is shopping for a new car at the Chevrolet dealership in Michigan. She's heard suggestions that Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on auto imports could drive prices higher, but she's willing to give the president the benefit of the doubt.
Feels like the end game is bring industry back to America. So, I mean, that's great for jobs.
Economists and the auto industry aren't so sanguine. Researchers at Cox Automotive estimate tariffs on parts could add $3,000 to the cost of a U.S.-made vehicle. and cars made in Canada and Mexico could go up by $6,000. If so, that's likely to put a dent in sales. S&P Global Mobility predicts total shipments could fall by 1 million or more units. And even if some automakers do move production to the U.S., that's not something that can happen overnight. For now, luxury brands aren't too worried. The likes of Bentley and Ferrari can probably just raise prices without putting off their rich customers. But lower-cost models built with tight profit margins could be hit hard. Experts say makers may respond by cutting back on features or even stopping production of some cheaper cars altogether. Georgia Tech professor Tibor Becerres says shoppers need to move fast.
If you're looking to buy a car, buy quickly, because prices, as soon as the tariffs are imposed, prices are going to go up. I mean, essentially, the only cars that won't become more expensive are the ones that are currently on dealers' lots, because they've already paid for those. But anything else that comes in, the moment those tariffs are in place, those cars become 25% more expensive.
Right now, it's estimated that U.S. dealers have about 90 days' supply of cars in stock. That means prices won't rise immediately. But when that inventory is gone, experts say car shoppers look certain to face higher prices and reduced choice. The fear is that many Americans will find a new car is suddenly out of reach.
Yeah, like, no offense to that story, but aren't a lot of cars new cars out of reach for a lot of people right now?
Like the cost of a house.
Well, yeah, I mean, you go on the lot, and when you're, a base model is $50,000 or $60,000, yeah, that's tough for a lot of people. We can talk about that in a moment, but let's get back to the forecast real quick. We're looking at cloudy skies, periods of rain this afternoon. Thunder possible. Highs today in the upper 50s. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows in the low 50s. Saturday, cloudy, low 70s. Sunday, rain, mid 60s. Monday, rain, low 60s. Tuesday, 1st of April, some morning clouds and afternoon sun with temperatures in the mid 40s. Meadville this morning at 38 degrees. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 39. Titusville 35. Franklin 35. Oil City 33 degrees here at 717.
1, 2, 3. Good love. Good love. Good love. Good love. I was feeling so bad. I asked my family doctor just what I had. I said, Doctor, Mr. MD, Doctor, now can you tell me what's ailing me, Doctor? He said,
That is a live shot this morning of Myrtle Beach. I don't know what the temperature is there, but it's Myrtle Beach. Hey, Fantasy Friday, right? Where would you like to be on a Friday? So every Friday we'll pick a different location to show you. Here's our live shot. So listen, I don't know. Where would you rather be? There? We're here. Today, it's warm this morning, right? It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So anyways, a lot of talk on tariffs, and that woman in that one story was saying, as long as there's probably going to be some effect. But if it's like a little bump in the road to bringing manufacturing back and providing jobs, then there's a benefit to that. It's funny. I was looking at a model of a vehicle that sold here and a model of a vehicle that sold overseas.
Uh-huh.
Two different vehicles. The bodies are the same for the most part, but the inside, you didn't have a lot of the gadgets overseas that you do here. The price of the car overseas, half the cost of what it is here.
Whoa.
And a lot of people are fascinated over there, according to this one story I was watching, with the old school knobs, and they like that stuff. Like, the tech is cool in cars, that they have all the computer screens, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you could get a car for half the price and not have that fancy stuff, so could manufacture, and I don't know what the laws are, I don't know what they have to have in cars here versus over there.
Yeah.
But you could probably eliminate and in a cool way bring back a lot of, the knob type stuff, which is kind of fun to play with. Could you imagine if you had that model that you love for almost half the price?
That would be, I think that's, I don't even know. That's the hard part because we're spoiled. And it's like you think, I can't live without it. Until you live without it, you'd be fine. But I think it'd also be great for the cost to fix things are ridiculous.
Well, that's the other thing.
I mean, you've got these, beautiful light, the lights on the front of your car are beautiful, but one deer and you're looking at thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, holy cow.
Cars are getting totaled left and right just because of now, I'm not talking about like when you're in an accident, because you hear people say, well, when I was a kid or when when we had the big steel beast, we may have gotten a little dent, but cars are designed to crumble for safety. Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But when you've got sensors all over the car, how about this? Learn to drive.
Yep.
Learn to parallel park.
So funny.
I don't want to push a button and have the car park for me.
No, I know.
Is that cool? I wouldn't buy a car. I wouldn't. I know others probably would.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, why don't you learn to drive and then not worry about having that technology in there? Or like you, circle the block 1,000 times until you find a spot that you can pull into. Because Amy will not parallel park at all.
Nope, not doing it.
But I don't know. I don't know why we would. We had a lot of stories on that this morning. Hey, you know what I did? I put on a shirt that's different from the shirt I had on yesterday.
And it looks the same.
But similar.
Yeah, it looks the same. I was like, oh.
Sorry.
You yell at me.
It's a different shirt. And the other shirt's different, obviously. But I did blue yesterday. But no, this is a different...
This is a different
shirt, but it's similar. Shirt. Yeah. Sorry.
You make fun of me for you're wearing black again.
Yeah. Colors. You could wear the same out. Did I tell you that there was a study on this? Mm-hmm. There was a news anchor in Australia. So he and his female co-host, they did the morning show.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Carl Stefanovic, I think is his name. Very funny show. It's the Australian Today show.
Okay.
But there's a million clips out there, and if you go and search, it's very funny. But anyways, so he wore the same suit every day for a year, and no one commented on it. The point he was making was if his female co-host wore the same thing every day, she would get hammered for wearing the same thing every day.
True.
So I don't, for me, maybe I'd catch on after a couple days you were wearing the same thing. I pick up more on the color, mixing it up variety-wise. And seasonally, we're coming into spring. It's nice to see some color. And
so says you, the boy who wore the same.
It's not the same shirt.
It's not the same.
It's similar.
Shirt. Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Boy, we got quite a lineup today. Cheri Porter's going to join us from the OC&T.
Awesome.
Who doesn't love riding a train?
It's fun.
I think for adults, it takes you back to your childhood, right?
Yeah.
Getting that train set out. Maybe at Christmas time, the memories that come with that, or riding a train. But anyway, Cheri's going to be here and give us an update on what's going on with the OC&T Railroad. We have Holly Sprong. She's bringing in a special guest. Jenna Sutley's going to join us. She's the coach of the Y swim team. And boy, did they have an exceptional year again.
Great season.
Yeah. And then Mr. Sports will be with us, Bruce Peter. And I have to apologize to you, Amy. I was not thinking yesterday. You said yesterday was Major League Baseball opening day.
Uh-huh.
And I said, no, that's not right.
It was.
It was. In my head, was thinking the first home game for the Pirates is against the Yankees, and I think that's next week. I had that in my head. So you are absolutely correct. opening day of baseball yesterday, and that brought a lot of excitement, and we'll run through some scores here in a moment. But first, let's get to our birthdays and what we're celebrating this weekend. How's that sound?
Sure.
Today is the 28th day of March.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Singer Reba McEntire is 70 today.
Good singer. She's, you know how Joe Cocker is hard to watch as he sings? He's got like that, kind of
Do that again.
Tourette's thing that he does.
Stop it.
Reba sings like with her mouth closed. You ever watch her sing?
No.
Final truth. Yeah, I can't do it, but she's great, very talented person, and funny comedian as well.
Okay. Actor Vince Vaughn is 55.
Okay.
Actress Julia Stiles is 44. Lady Gaga is 39. And that is all.
Well, happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to you. If today happens to be your birthday, from all of us here today, what are we celebrating today and through the weekend?
All right. Today is Barnum and Bailey Day.
Love the circus.
Eat an Eskimo Pie Day.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is better than Eat an Eskimo Day.
It's National Amber Day.
Oh, you have a sister named Amber.
I do. National Black Forest Cake Day. National Hot Tub Day. National Ram Day. National Something on a Stick Day.
That's for our friends, the Stewards.
Uh-huh. Everything tastes better on a stick. National Triglycerides Day. National Weed Appreciation Day. Respect Your Cat Day. Surf's Emancipation Day. Virtual Advocacy Day. National Protocol Officers Week.
Okay.
Okay. It is for tomorrow. We're celebrating Earth Hour. Knights of Columbus Founders Day, Martyrs Day of Madagascar, Mermaid Day, National Lemon Chiffon Cake Day, National Mom and Pop Business Owners Day, National Smoke and Mirrors Day, National Vietnam War Veterans Day, New Moon March, Niagara Falls Runs Dry Day, Pay It Forward Day, Texas Loves the Children Day, Vietnam Veterans Day, World Piano Day, which is really cool because tomorrow we have a friend.
Erie's Piano Man.
Erie's Piano Man. So that's awesome. And Nano Days. And then on Sunday, which would you celebrate your, 29th birthday? 29, right?
Age doesn't bother me as much as it does you.
I know, right? The Big 4-5 we celebrate for Luke, but it's British Summertime Begins, Doctor's Day, Grass is Always Browner on the Other Side of the Fence Day, Land Day, Mothering Sunday of UK, National Fitness Recovery Day, National Folding Laundry Day, National I Am in Control Day, National Julia Day, National Pencil Day, National Victoria Day, National Virtual Vacation Day, National Wendy Day, Pretzel Sunday, Spiritual Baptist Liberation Day, Take a Walk in the Park Day, Torrance Day, Turkey Neck Soup Day, World Bipolar Day, World TB 303 Appreciation Day.
All right.
I think I'll be celebrating you on Sunday.
Oh, that's nice. I won't be around.
I know, right?
Well, thanks. Pick something there to celebrate. Real quick before we get to the bottom of the hour. Let's see. Baseball did kick off yesterday, and we have. Well, I was going to bring you some. All right, here we go. Some scores from yesterday. Yankees over the Brewers 4-2. That's so nice to read some baseball scores, isn't it? Orioles got their bats going against the Toronto Blue Jays, beating them 12-2. It was an extra inning win for the Phillies over the Nationals 7-3. Red Sox beat the Rangers 5-2. The Pirates fell to the Marlins 5-4, and the Pirates are done for the season. That's it. All end of the world. They lost. First game of the season.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be an okay omen there.
Yeah,
if they come out like.
Nope, that's it.
Swinging.
Time for football. Bring the Steelers.
On top, we'll be like, meh.
Padres beat the Braves 7-4. Astros over the Mets 3-1. Giants over the Reds 6-4. Guardians 7-4 win over the Royals in 10 innings. White Sox beat the Angels. Cardinals over the Twins. Dodgers beat the Tigers. Cubs over the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners beat the Athletics 4-2. And real quick here, let's see, games today. The Pirates and the Marlins in Miami at 7:10 this evening. All right, we're coming up on 7:30 here this morning. Did you say, you said something about, I don't know. I don't even know what it was now.
What are you talking about?
Like vacation getaway.
Virtual
Virtual.
vacation.
Okay, so here's your virtual vacation getaway here this morning. That is a live shot of Myrtle Beach.
That's not my thing, though.
Well, no, but somebody out there.
I know.
There's a lot of people who love
I'm
going.
saying you said you posted you'd rather be here.
All right.
I reject any attempts to weaken Canada, to wear us down, to break us so that America can own us. That will never happen. And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada. We're all on the same page. We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away.
Britain's King Charles was admitted to hospital for a short time on Thursday after experiencing side effects from cancer treatment. That's according to Buckingham Palace. The palace declined to give any details of the side effects, but a royal source described the setback as a, quote, minor bump in the road. The source said the king's recovery was continuing in a very positive direction and that he was in good form. The palace said he had returned to his home, Clarence House, and that as a precaution, his engagements for Friday would be rescheduled. The 76-year-old king has been undergoing treatment since he was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February last year.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Winter rages on in northwest Pennsylvania, and luckily Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning is only a phone call away when your heating emergency strikes. Whether it's residential or light commercial, new construction, repair or replacement, Vanderhoof has the experience to get the job done right. Call today to set up an appointment or visit the Vanderhoof website to learn more. At Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning, we look forward to fulfilling all of your HVAC needs and projects now and into the future. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville. ProThreads Print Shop is the area's premier screen printing and embroidery company. Locally owned, ProThreads prides themselves in specializing in school and travel sportswear and fan gear, as well as business and corporate apparel. Get your team mascot or company logo screen printed, embroidered, or engraved on just about anything. ProThreads Print Shop is now open by appointment at 130 East State Street in Pleasantville, where you'll find rocket gear to wear year-round. Check them out on Facebook or visit them at ProThreadsPrintShop.com for superior service with personalized attention. Talk to the pros at ProThreads Print Shop.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today, because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
At the Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville, our programs are designed with your future in mind, offering a dynamic blend of theoretical knowledge and practical skills across a variety of in-demand fields. From healthcare to manufacturing, our curriculum is tailored to meet the evolving needs of the industry, ensuring that our graduates are not just job-ready, but future-ready. This is where your future begins. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville. Go succeed.
We're feeling extra lucky this month at Community Chevrolet. And thanks to our legendary trade values, you'll feel like doing a jig of your own.
I do not dance on command, but if the moment calls for it.
This March, there's silver at the end of the rainbow in the form of the all-new 2025 Chevy Silverado. And our team is channeling the luck of the Irish to get you approved.
I call this move the Shamrock Boogie.
All this month, strike gold when you visit Community Chevrolet.
U.S. stocks ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow and S&P 500 both dropping about 0.33% and the Nasdaq shedding more than 0.5%. President Donald Trump's mercurial tariff policies have created uncertainty on Wall Street and continue to fuel fears of a global slowdown. Ben McMillan is Chief Investment Officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors.
Generally seeing a lot of investors, repricing growth, repricing the AI trade, starting to favor more defensive stocks. And again, all of this is, directly tied to concerns about what the tariffs are going to look like. I joked to an investor earlier this morning that, markets don't like tariffs, markets don't like uncertainty, and markets hate tariff uncertainty.
Trump's plan to implement a 25% tariff on imported cars rocked shares of automakers. General Motors tumbled more than 7%, and Ford slid almost 4%. Shares of car parts manufacturers Aptiv and Borg-Warner also suffered substantial losses. But shares of Tesla were spared, edging up modestly, as investors bet the electric vehicle maker will be hurt less by tariffs because of its largely domestic production. Other movers included Lululemon Athletica, which closed higher but plummeted more than 10% in extended trading after the apparel company forecast annual revenue and profit below estimates as a refresh of its product line has failed to attract more customers. And shares of Dollar Tree jumped 11% as several analysts raised their price targets a day after the discount retailer said it sold its struggling Family Dollar business for about $1 billion. Investors on Friday will focus on the February Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, the Federal Reserve's favored inflation gauge.
On this Friday, looking at cloudy skies, periods of rain this afternoon, thunder possible and highs in the upper 50s. Partly cloudy skies tonight with lows in the low 50s. Saturday, cloudy, low 70s. Sunday, rain, mid-60s. Monday, rain, low 60s. And Tuesday for the 1st of April. No fooling around here. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine. A high on the 1st? Yeah, 44. I wish that was a joke. It's not. Area temperatures this morning, Meadville at 38 degrees, Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 39, Titusville 35, Franklin 35, Oil City 33 degrees here at 7:39. Well, joining us this morning from the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad, it is Cheri Porter. And Cheri, good morning.
Morning. So I had to wear the hat. I can't be outdone by the girls at Drakewell from yesterday. So you get the hat at least for a few minutes until it drives me nuts.
Now we're going to be in a war for the next foreseeable future here between the OC&T Railroad and Drakewell Museum.
Hey, we got to keep you on your toes.
We were, obviously talking to them, coming into that school tour season and just the summer tourism. There's really a lot happening. I know you guys are really working hard getting everything together, and already things are selling out.
Yes.
Let's kind of get caught up on what's happening.
So right at the moment, we are sold out for our Easter run. We are sold out for the speeders that will be in during Oil Fest. So those are the two things that we're sold out. We've got a couple of other things that are getting close. So if you've got any thoughts that you want to check things out, get in touch with us, because like I said, there are some others that are getting close to selling out. So but yeah, we're still doing good. We still have room as far as the train goes for the school tours and stuff like that. So we've still got openings. So school districts interested in getting kids on the train need to call the OC&T Railroad. Correct.
As soon as possible.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The other, murder mystery runs, those sell out like crazy as well.
They do. We've got, I think, 3 that are close, that are at about 75% capacity at this point. Don't have any sold out yet, but
it's close.
Yeah, so won't take long.
I was talking to somebody recently, and they were like, I thought you guys were just joking about how fast things sell out. I tried to call to get tickets for, maybe it was the Peter Cottontail Express there, and they're like, yeah, we're sold out. It's like, I just thought you guys were joking about that.
Yep.
No. It goes fast.
Yes, it does.
So when somebody goes to the website or the Facebook page and they see sort of the schedule, it's really important to say, you know what, we're planning on doing this.
Correct.
And they should call. So if they see it posted, is it too early to call?
Absolutely not. We are one of the few railroads that once we release our schedule at the beginning of the season, you can call anytime throughout that season and order tickets for any of those events. We've already sold Christmas tickets. We've sold Halloween tickets. Jeez. I mean, you name it. So once our schedule goes live, you can purchase for any of our events.
Okay. So talk to your family, friends, whatever you're doing, significant other, and say, we're doing this.
Yes.
You get folks that come from all over, which, again, opens that window. So it's not just, local folks. There are local folks who love, riding the train. But
absolutely.
You bring people up from Pittsburgh, down from Erie, Buffalo, Cleveland. They come from all over.
They do.
That has to be kind of exciting to welcome those folks.
It is. And we try to increase some of that out of the area visiting. We do a travel show down in Pittsburgh in February. We do one up in New York State in March. We will do one over in Lancaster. Excuse me, it falls end of April, early May. So, yeah.
So you need me to go with you on that one?
I think Amy's covering that one, but you can go as the adult supervision.
That would be great. I'll tell you, Strasburg, outside of what we have here, Strasburg's awesome.
Yeah. So.
And they've got the Pennsylvania Train Museum, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
But
again, they're all state funded, and we're not.
I know.
So makes a big difference.
And here's the feather in the cap too. Attendance just continues to grow, and it's getting close to that 1 millionth rider.
Hopefully in the next couple of years, yes, sir.
Man, that's going to be big.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And there are train enthusiasts all over the country, obviously. And folks will travel to just take in other locations.
Right.
So what makes what you have here special?
A lot of things. The first would have to be the fact that the people that originally put this together had the foresight in the early 1980s to realize what a asset this could be to the area. And the fact that they fought to make it happen and got everything together and, managed to put the equipment together, the whole plan for it together and make it work. The other thing is that ours is primarily volunteer-based. We have minimal staff. There are only 2 full-time staff members in the organization, myself and JC, the marketing manager.
Wow.
Everybody else is either part-time seasonal help or they are volunteers. So that in and of itself makes a big difference that it is just primarily volunteer-based. And it has survived, and next year will be 40 years as a volunteer-based organization.
That is incredible. Congratulations.
So
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
it is, yes.
And then, you've got the history part that feeds into
Absolutely.
it. You've got great locations. Perry Street Station is absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
And it really lends itself to, and you've done a fantastic job with this, opening it up for special events.
Mm-hmm.
And people come in there and they go, wow, this is really cool.
Right.
Well, I didn't really know this was here or that you could do that here, or I've been through here. It's been a while. Really awesome things going on there.
Yeah, we've actually been contacted. So far this season, the station will be used for a family reunion. We have a young man's graduation party that we will be hosting there. We've had a couple people talk about using it as a venue for like a baby shower. We have a wedding that is scheduled for on the premises, reception and the wedding and stuff like that. So yeah, there's all sorts of uses for the building, besides being there for the train rides.
And all of that is really to support what you do, right? That all feeds
Correct.
into that.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I would imagine if somebody has a question or really needs to discuss ideas, they can call or stop into the office.
Yep, absolutely. JC and I are there right now, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday for the most part. I believe April 1st, I think we switch over to our summer hours, so we'll be there 9 to 4.
Okay.
So.
Now, mentioned Peter Cottontail, sold out.
Yep.
That's coming up. I know the regular season starts June?
Correct.
Okay, June. It just seems like with special events, it kind of feels like it starts now.
Right. And it does. And I have thought seriously about changing the official start date, but then we're not running consistently in April and May. So I kind of hold off on that because June is really where we hit the every weekend consistently and that type of thing. So
now, how much work goes into just getting ready for this time of year?
a lot. We've got souvenirs that have to be ordered and, obviously priced and displayed. We've got work that needs to be done in the station. Right now, there's no heat, no water down there. So, of course, the plumber has to come in and do all of that stuff. And then, of course, it's set all winter. So then everything needs cleaned and we have to decorate to get ready for the Easter run. And so, yeah, there's just a constant flow of things that need to be done in order to start things out.
So it takes a lot. And there's also that excitement, though, for it.
Yes.
Welcoming all the passengers for the new season.
Absolutely. And I've had several of my employees going, can't we start now? And I'm like, guys, there's no heat, there's no water. No, we're not starting yet. So the employees miss it as much as, the passengers do. So,
well, talk about some of the other special events that you have throughout the year.
So we've touched on the murder mystery dinners. So we've got 10 of those throughout the season. We've got our wine tasting events. So we will have 3 of those this year. One is on May 2nd with Twisted Vine Winery out of Kane. Next, we will have June 6th with Sidetracked Winery out of Valant. And July 11th is Cellar 54 out of Northeast. So we've got those 3 events. August 1st, is that a Friday? The first Friday in August is the Taps on Tracks.
Yes.
And that is being hosted by Oars here in town. So they will be the brewery for that one. So those are some of the big things. Of course, we've always got, let's see, May we will do Mother's Day. June we will do Father's Day. September we will do Grandparents' Day. Let's see, what else? We've got Christmas in July that we will have. So, yeah.
So a really full calendar once again this year. And I know you've said before, you don't just get to the month and say, okay, what are we doing this month? This stuff's planned well in advance, almost a year in advance.
Yes. Yep. Because next year will be our 40th anniversary, we are already working to try and get things coordinated for some bigger events and stuff like that right around what would be our anniversary weekend and stuff. So.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Cheri Porter with us this morning. The hat just came off. I thought you were going to make it all the way through.
Nope.
Oh. You were missing the train whistle, though.
I was. I'll try better next time.
You mentioned it's not too late for school districts to call and schedule the school tours.
Absolutely.
Talk about that experience, because a lot of adults around here talk about still remembering that trip as a student.
Yes.
So that's pretty impactful.
It is. It is. And it was funny that somehow my kids did not do that as a field trip while they were in school. And in hindsight, my daughter's always like, we did Drake well, but how did we not end up on the train? I feel like I got slighted.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So we do have a lot of these schools that come in. Last year, we even had schools from down around Du Bois that came in. We had a school from Ohio and one from New York State that came down and were, here for their school tours. Same train ride that we get during the regular season. The only difference is that everybody on the train is either a student or an employee of a school or has been vetted by the school. So there's no outside individuals on the train other than our staff. But, so it is all schools. So, if some of the schools are concerned about, what's going to be the interaction with the general public, that's resolved because you're all schools. That's the only people on the train for those rides and stuff. So there's 3 days, the 6th, 7th, and 8th of May, I believe. And then the following week, 14, 15, 16. Does that sound right? I don't know. You've got the calendar over there on your side.
Sure.
So. But anyway, those 2 weeks of May are the days that we've got the school run set up for right now. I believe there is one of those days where we have very few people on the train. So always looking to add to those days so we don't have to, cancel for some reason or whatever. But, if it comes down to it, we'll try to work with that school and get them on another day if it's at all possible and go from there. So
I think some other unique features, folks who like to kayak or bike have the ability to do that, but yet ride the train back to the station.
Correct. They do. And I've actually talked to 2 different groups already this season that will be probably putting somewhere between 15 and 20 bikes on the train at different times.
Wow.
And in the process of working with some other organizations to try and get some additional events like that in there. So.
And I'm sure every year you have folks that come up to you and say, I didn't realize you could do that. I'm going to do that next year when we come back.
Absolutely, we do.
Or next weekend we'll come back and do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And then, again, something else maybe people aren't familiar with, but you can mail postage from the train.
Absolutely. So we have the Railway Post Office card, which is the only operational one in the continental United States.
What? Say that again?
In the continental United States.
The only one?
Only one.
Wow.
Yep. So, yes, you can purchase a postcard on board the train, or you can purchase one in the depot, and then take that out on the train. And while you're going down through the valley, you can drop it in the mailbox, and your postcard will, well, assuming the Postal Service delivers it, your postcard will arrive on your doorstep. We had a few that apparently got lost somewhere in the system last year. But yes, so you can do that. We've had people that will bring in, we had somebody who had a friend who was into trains and stamp collecting and stuff like that. So they actually wrote them a letter and then mailed that from. So, I mean, you can mail anything. We've had people drop birthday cards in there. One guy decided, he goes, "Can I mail my rent check from here?" Sure.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, I mean, we mail all sorts of things like that. So you can just drop it in the mailbox there on the train and it will make its way to the destination.
You're involved in the community.
A little bit.
When you hear folks say to you, "Boy, I'll tell you, what's going on with the OC&T and Drakewell and tourism," you're really helping to provide, that thing that people are looking to do, and they'll stay here, they'll bring family, and it's helping my business. How do you feel when you hear that?
Good. Because I don't want this to be a town where people come in and just come to my location. In order for Titusville to continue to survive and to thrive, we need to bring those people in. We need to provide them with enough events and entertainment that they stay for the weekend. And all of a sudden this becomes, hey, you remember last year when we were in Titusville? Let's go back and do the things that we didn't get to do. So they come back and they become repeat visitors and eventually discover that they've become as ingrained in the lifestyle here as the rest of us are. I know the girls made mention that they had people that had been at the ironworks that stopped at Drakewell, and we try very hard when people come in to us and they're like, okay, what can I do, after I get off the train? Well, there's this, there's that. And we send them to the museum. We send them to ironworks. We send them to the restaurants in town. We send them up to the shops in town because we want them to see what is here in Titusville. We want them to come back. We want them to spend their time and their money here because tourism is, very valuable.
I think it's also important. You've talked before about just seeing what's happening in neighboring communities because these families are coming and spending time, and they're saying, "Well, while we're here, what is there to do? Oh, to drive to if you're at the Thurston Classic in Meadville for the weekend, and you're looking, oh, I wonder what's going on. 25 minutes you're over here and on the train. So it is important to look at other communities and seeing what's going on there as well.
Absolutely.
You get to meet so many folks. I love when you share these stories, but what's that feeling like for you? Just, when somebody comes up and says, hey, I've traveled, 3 hours to get here, and this is just wonderful.
It makes me feel very proud. It means that we're doing our job well, we're doing it right, and it means that we're sending those people home with a memory that is going to last, and it's also an impression that they're going to be willing to share with the next person that they talk to that's we've been trying to figure out what to do for our family vacation or whatever. Hey, we did this really neat trip too, and all of a sudden you discover that that word of mouth advertising does amazing things.
When it comes to volunteers for the upcoming season here, are you in need, or do you
Absolutely.
have? Okay.
I will always take volunteers. So.
What's that process? Is there some training involved with that?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. And they just call the office?
Call the office, stop into the office and see me. We'll have them fill out an application. When we get several of them together, we'll work on doing some training with them and stuff like that.
Do we miss anything? You got a lot of notes over there.
Wine trains, murder mysteries, and just ridership reports. So we covered all of it.
Wow. All right. So again, a lot of things are selling out quickly. Yeah. Call, get your tickets, and just have that peace of mind of knowing you're set.
Yes.
Because things are going quickly. And again, murder mysteries fill up awfully fast.
Yes.
And you got a lot of big events. By the way, really nice job on Facebook. The months between now and through summer are posted, so you can see some of those big weekends and the school rides and all that stuff. So if folks have questions, they can go to the Facebook page and website.
Yes, sir.
And then they can also call the office.
Yep.
And the best number to reach the office?
814-676-1733.
And the website is octrr.org.
Yes.
All right. And if they want to stop in, office hours as of right now?
9 to 3 until the 1st of April, and then they go 9 to 4.
Okay. That's next week.
Yeah, I know.
Does that feel like that, when you're open to 4, it's like, okay, we're here. It's
kind of.
I know you're there like 24/7 anyhow.
Well, yeah, but
Driving past at 7 at night and the lights are on.
I may be guilty of that, yes.
Cheri, good to see you this morning.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
As soon as you are able, woman, I am willing to make the break that we are on the brink of. My cup is on the table, my love is me.
I reject any attempts to weaken Canada, to wear us down, to break us so that America can own us. That will never happen. And our response to these latest tariffs is to fight, is to protect, and to build. We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada. We're all on the same page. We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away.
Britain's King Charles was admitted to hospital for a short time on Thursday after experiencing side effects from cancer treatment. That's according to Buckingham Palace. The palace declined to give any details of the side effects, but a royal source described the setback as a, quote, minor bump in the road. The source said the king's recovery was continuing in a very positive direction and that he was in good form. The palace said he had returned to his home, Clarence House, and that as a precaution, his engagements for Friday would be rescheduled. The 76-year-old king has been undergoing treatment since he was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February last year.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors. We also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who can solve this equation? Ooh! Me. Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you.
Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
U.S. stocks ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow and S&P 500 both dropping about 0.33% and the Nasdaq shedding more than 0.5%. President Donald Trump's mercurial tariff policies have created uncertainty on Wall Street and continue to fuel fears of a global slowdown. Ben McMillan is Chief Investment Officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors.
Generally seeing a lot of investors, repricing growth, repricing the AI trade, starting to favor more defensive stocks. And again, all of this is, directly tied to concerns about what the tariffs are going to look like. I joked to an investor earlier this morning that, markets don't like tariffs, markets don't like uncertainty, and markets hate tariff uncertainty.
Trump's plan to implement a 25% tariff on imported cars rocked shares of automakers. General Motors tumbled more than 7%, and Ford slid almost 4%. Shares of car parts manufacturers Aptiv and Borg-Warner also suffered substantial losses. But shares of Tesla were spared, edging up modestly, as investors bet the electric vehicle maker will be hurt less by tariffs because of its largely domestic production. Other movers included Lululemon Athletica, which closed higher but plummeted more than 10% in extended trading after the apparel company forecast annual revenue and profit below estimates as a refresh of its product line has failed to attract more customers. And shares of Dollar Tree jumped 11% as several analysts raised their price targets a day after the discount retailer said it sold its struggling Family Dollar business for about $1 billion. Investors on Friday will focus on the February Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, the Federal Reserve's favored inflation gauge.
Well, this is exciting. We have Holly Sprong from the Titusville YMCA joining us. And Holly, you brought in a bunch of guests this morning.
Some friends, yeah.
Wow, congratulations. Well, no, just people.
For
Yeah,
having friends?
Just friends. No, you have a lot of friends. Jenna Sutley's here. Jenna, good morning.
Morning.
You are the swim coach.
Yep.
Wow, let's talk about this because it's been another phenomenal season.
Probably our best yet.
All right, and you brought some swim. I assume they're swimmers. No, I'm just joking.
Couple of them,
I
yeah.
know they're swimmers.
I like to sit up tall.
Yeah, guys, introduce yourselves back there.
I'm Lauren Ongley.
I'm Alex Reynolds.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, Holly, let's start with the Y program, the swim program. It's something that extremely successful, great history, great tradition. A lot of kids get their start with the Y program.
They do, and you were very blessed to have an amazing history of coaches for the YMCA swim team to be able to build upon. And without that, we wouldn't be where we're at today. And thanks to Jenna and our other coaches, Andrea McGill and Corinne Schmader, we're able to continue just this awesome legacy and starting these swimmers from the ground up, like age 5, I think they can start on the swim team. But of course, swim lessons through the Y. The Y is the largest provider of swim lessons in the nation. So those work together. We still have people on the swim team who still take swim lessons, believe it or not. So you can always, improve your skills. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a long history, and Jenna has just taken this team over the top again this year, and has had great kids to work with, which helps. And I think it's a testament to the coaching as well, because the kids, they keep showing up.
Yeah, they do.
And doing well.
And they're pushed. And excellence, and maybe we'll get your take back there, second row. But I think there is an appreciation for that. Coach, maybe you can address that a little bit and tell us your history and your story with the program.
Mine? This is my 11th year coaching. It's funny because this is one of our smaller teams that we've ever had, but I would say that the quality of kids and the dedication that in the group that we've had this year has been better than any group I've ever coached. These two, Lauren's been with me since she was 7 years old, and Alex since he was 10, so they're graduating seniors this year. So not only do we start them when they're young, but we keep them through when they graduate, which is I would say the biggest part of our success, because when you keep those high school kids around and the little kids watch them and get to interact with them, then they look up, they see the record board, they know who those names are, and then they reach for it. And I always say the thing I'm most proud about is every meet I go to, people tell me how nice our kids are. Hey, your kid, Mary Herman, for example, at Districts, gave a tech suit to a girl she didn't know because hers ripped in the locker room.
Oh,
and the mom sought me out and said, hey, I just wanted you to know that your kid did that. Alex had some moments with Joel Slater, Jacqueline's son, at States, and they're both breaststrokers, and you can imagine to a little 9-year-old how much that must mean for the current record holder in every breaststroke event to take some time and encourage him. I mean, it means a lot, and that's what has kept the program going. But these two can tell you about how much I push them.
So when does the season start for you two? We'll get
September.
there. September?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's that like, and how exciting is it to get back into it? Or is it like, okay, well, I know this is going to be the grind, but I'm excited?
It hurts.
Honestly, yeah, like Y is definitely like my favorite thing to get back into. Like I've always had so much fun with it since I was younger. So whenever it starts back up, I just get really excited because I know like I have good friendships, I have good coaching. Like I'm just excited because I know the season will be good.
Do you go into the season, and maybe now's not really the time for this answer, but I mean, maybe it was years ago, but do you say, I like these events, this is what I want to swim, or do the coaches come to you and say, no, I really think this is your event?
I definitely specialize only in breaststroke.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, I come into the season, I know what I'm going to swim. I just kind of work at the same thing all the time, but I like it a lot. Okay. So
yeah, it's kind of a joint effort because we're trying to expand our bases a little bit. And so like we'll be like, hey, we'll work on a different stroke tonight, try to get that better, and just kind of try to diversify what strokes we can do a little bit. And we'll see when we get to a meet, it's like, oh, you should swim this event this time, or like we figured out I can swim a longer distance event that's all the strokes, and It's kind of try to diversify over all the strokes, try to get them equally good.
And Coach, for you, do you find that you try to get your swimmers to pick that?
No.
Okay. And we've had this conversation because Jenna has done our swimming broadcasts and does a great job with us.
Thanks, Luke. No, I encourage them to be competent at the bare minimum in all strokes. Early season, we do a lot of IM training because when you just train one stroke, you overload the muscle groups and you're at risk for injury. So even though Lauren specializes in breaststroke, she is a better IMer than she gives herself credit for. Usually breaststrokers are good IMers, but I don't allow them to only do one thing because you would hurt yourself. So not to mention it's okay to suck at things, I think
every day.
learning to be bad at things and learning to work on things is what builds character. So, I encourage them to fail. And I set them up to fail repeatedly so that if they don't quite reach what they want, then it's okay. I think kids need to learn to fail and fail gracefully, get back up and try again.
All right. We'll come back to the program in just a minute because there are big updates, right? Performed really well at States and moving on, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, Holly, let's talk real quick about some other events coming up at the Y. It is such a busy time.
It's always busy at the Y. Yeah. And we're always looking ahead, too, just like everybody else. But, yeah, we're kind of, in a way, winding down for the spring. We're in our last session of some of our youth programming.
Wow.
And then we're going to take a little break, and we'll do one more session before summer starts. So summer programs are planned. Some of them are actually live on the website. And you can go on and kind of look at those if you have some kids that you need to find some things to do with this summer. We have lots of options, adding some new things, some different things I'm very excited about. Had a lot of meetings with Michaela and Jacqueline and Wes about, what is needed in the community. We've taken some suggestions, like always, and are building upon those. So we're excited looking ahead for a great summer, and we're planning things clear throughout the year and even next year.
This is that crazy time of year, too, where I think there are certain parts of the day, if you drive past the Y, Jacqueline will be outside pole vaulting. I don't know.
Yeah, Jacqueline's there, like 6 a.m. cycle Wednesday, and then, pole vault in the afternoon, and sometimes back. Yeah, she's a workhorse.
And there's all sorts of great events happening, blood drives, Good Friday service coming up.
Good Friday. Noontime service is coming up on Good Friday. That's April 18th at the Y. So it's 12:15 to 12:45, just a half an hour service with our friends from Grace Fellowship and Titusville Free Church. And they'll be there with a service and music. And Hillary from Warner's is giving us those delicious, beautiful, decorated cross cookies again to take on your way. And it's a very nice service. It's short and meaningful, really gets you in the spirit of Easter and what it's all about.
That's fantastic. And then the blood drive, do people need to call ahead for that?
They don't have to. Walk-ins are welcome, but you can make an appointment. I would encourage you to make an appointment, especially if you are on a time crunch for work or things like that. We do have people that come in, say on their lunch break or things like that. We have teachers sometimes actually that come in the middle of the day.
And the next one will be?
It's at the end of the month. I think it's the 24th. If you saw the Bloodmobile there yesterday, that was kind of an emergency last minute thing. Again, they called us, hey, something's happening at the hospital. We need a place. Can we come to your parking lot? Yep.
Penelec switched off the power at 4 p.m. So I went
they
home.
were they were a little afraid to have needles in the dark. So
it was abrupt.
Isn't that a song from
Needles in the Dark?
Piano in the Dark, I think it was, but no, I'm not going to sing.
Okay.
So, but again, if that's something of interest, it really helps. And I think those donations stay here, correct?
They do, yeah. The Community Blood Bank is the supplier to our local hospital.
Okay. Something else that filled up quickly, the first aid, CPR, and AED training. There's another one coming up in June?
There is one coming up in June, and there are only 7 spots available for that one.
Okay.
So it is half full. Jacqueline is the trainer for that. It's American Red Cross training, and it's good for 2 years. It's first aid, CPR, AED training for infants through adults. And we actually have some of our own education center staff that are going to be taking up the other half of that training. It's a blended learning, so you'll have to do part of that online beforehand, before your in-person skill session.
And that's right at the beginning of June. So if you're thinking, hey, I'm coaching baseball or soccer's coming up or football in the fall, whatever it is, this is great to have. So
absolutely. Highly encourage it. We have people coming from all over for these as well. It's not generally Titusville people, honestly. We have a lot of people from the other side of the county.
You mentioned the events starting to post for summer events. I would imagine if folks have questions, they can call, get more information,
yes.
Go online.
Yep, call. If you really want, really have some questions, please call. Probably ask for Michaela. She knows the most about them. If she's not available, I'll be happy to talk to you as well, as always. But some of those things are already on the back end. We just haven't went live with them. Just some fine details. We want to make sure that everything is perfect before we actually have people signing up for those. But we will have our park program again, formerly called Day Camp. And we'll have Outdoor Club again, Youth Golf Club, and adding, like I said, some new things in, a gymnastics camp. We had a request for a volleyball clinic that's going to be ran by a couple of volunteers, actually, that really wanted to do that for some middle school kids, get them prepped for high school. So a lot of variety this summer.
And of course, learn to swim.
Swim lessons.
Yeah.
Yep, those start April 7th, the first session. And we'll have sessions every month through July. And you might see some of these kids there, either guarding or doing lessons.
I'm not going to ask why you have lifeguards at a swim meet when everybody can swim, but that's a whole different thing. So I won't get into that. But again, if you want to sign up, because a lot of these classes, you think, oh, yeah, I need to do that. Mm-hmm. And then you see it like a week before and you call and say, hey, can I get signed up? Well, no, we're full.
Right.
Like,
and your summer gets full, right?
Yes.
So before you know it, it's going to be like your summer vacation or your family vacation, or, we just got busy and we forgot. Like, make this a priority. Get your kids signed up for a swim, and then kind of maybe plan some other things around it. No, we can't do it that week because we have swim. We don't know because we have baseball. We're not sure when. It's an hour. It's swim. Like,
also, they're so affordable that if you miss a session, it's really not going to hit the wallet too hard. The Y does a really good job of making all of our swim programs very affordable. And correct me if I'm wrong, there's probably financial aid as
there
well.
Is. Yeah,
that's what we tell people. They're like, I'm gone a week. Well, that's okay. Just get there when you can.
Yeah. You hear stories now where people say, I wish I would have learned to swim. I want to take these vacations. I'm afraid to go in the water, or I can't help my kids in the water. Get them started young. And
Correct.
It's never too late, but if you can.
It's easier when they're small. It's easier when they haven't had an incident in the water. After that happens, it's incredibly hard to work through that fear. So it's a great gift you can give yourself and your child. It's peace of mind for you that they can help themselves. And my goal, and I've taught all the kids who teach lessons, is I don't just want them to be able to swim. I want them to be strong swimmers. Mm-hmm. So we teach them in a way that we assume everybody's going to join the swim team. I always tell the kids, don't teach them bad habits because I don't want to break them.
There you go.
So
let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Our friends from the Titusville YMCA with us here this morning. Real quick, Holly, lose to win. Very successful again this year.
Very successful. We had about 70 participants at the beginning of the year through, just last week, I think it was our award ceremony. And got to really have some great results from some people's new members and people that are staying with the Y because they've built those good habits and just feel better. We know that the scale is not always the best measurement, so we continue to encourage them and talk about the other ways that moving and positive health impacts have on your overall life and quality of life. So we're into the summer slim down now. Getting people through these last few weeks going, oh gosh, I was going to start that in January and I didn't, and it's April. It's okay. Start today. Just come in, start moving. We can help you with your goals, setting reasonable, start with a step goal. Just get moving and make friends and come see us.
That's so important. Have that conversation. There's a support system there.
Absolutely.
I know we're in that fast food society where, hey, I just want to take a pill and everything. So I understand that, and that's if that's part of the
And that's needed for some people.
Sure.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
But you got to put the time in, the work. I just saw an article this morning about folks who just kind of sit at their desk all day at the office, and you got to get up and move. Get up and move. All right, before we wrap up, Coach, quickly talk about what just happened and what's next for the program.
Sure. We're heading into our last meet of the championship season. So we started in mid-February. We hosted the league championship meet, which we won for the second year in a row.
Wow.
So we're proud of the kids. Takes every kid to win that. So it gives the non-district swimmers that championship feel, and they get to feel part of something big. So it's always fun to come away with a win there.
With all the banners up in the gym.
Yeah.
All the banners.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then at districts, we had more success than we've ever had that meet. We had, I think, 7 district champions, countless other. When I went down and wrote all the podium finishes, it was front and back on a sheet of paper. I mean, probably two dozen at least on the podium, which is amazing. And then we just had states last weekend. Again, it's a prelim final meet, so you have to make the top 8 to make it back. And we had several swims that made it back. Kennedy Schmader was the first girl I've ever had make the podium at states, so that's really encouraging for the girls. And then Joe Herman is headed to nationals next week. He's going to swim 4 events. That's in Greensboro, North Carolina. So we just have had a fun, exciting season. These kids put in so much work, so it's great when it pays off. That makes it all worth it.
What's been the memory that has stood out this season?
Honestly, when we went to states, I time trialed my favorite event because I wanted to swim it one more time because I was upset that senior year was ending, and I was like, this is so sad. Like, I want to do it one more time. And I think even Jenna was confused as to why I wanted to do it, because these time trials are for national cuts, and I was never close to that time, but I still just wanted to experience swimming in the pool, see what I could do. And I went there, and I was actually against Alex. Him and I were swimming right next to each other, and I was with all boys, and I was like, oh, this makes me nervous because it's all guys. I'm gonna get last place, but I swam it, and I was super relaxed in the pool and everything. And I hit the wall, and I looked up at the scoreboard, and it ended up being my fastest time ever, which broke our high school record.
Wow!
So it was entirely throughout my whole high school career, I've been chasing a time. And this time I was relaxed, and it just happened. I was very surprised by it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Alex, how about you?
Yeah. Also at states, we got, or I guess I didn't hit the time that I wanted to for my event, and I got really lucky and had 2 team members from another team actually stay the last day for probably an extra 2 hours to race with me, and it was just kind of a cool moment because I got to kind of see the impact that I've had on other teams, and kind of getting 2 people who, one of them, we weren't really friends to start out.
Friendly rivals.
Yeah, friendly rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of to see the end of our careers together, and it was just cool.
It was incredibly overwhelming. I don't cry. I ugly cried. What he's not telling you is these boys told him that he is the reason that they have had success, because they looked at what he was able to do, and they looked at the work that he put in, and they just wanted to emulate that. And one of these boys was headed down the wrong path and had a rough year the year before. And so, maybe Alex didn't get what he wanted at this chapter of his swim career, but I think it's important to know that your integrity and how you conduct yourself, it has ripples, and people take notice. And a lot of people don't get to hear that. So I was happy that he was able to hear that.
I think Holly's jotting
From
this down as a
teenage
great
boys, no less.
wise story. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Always trying to keep it together.
Oh my
know,
goodness.
yeah.
I've told it enough now that I'm not crying, but I was ugly crying.
There's a lot of sports groups that look at this program and think this is what needs to happen in our sport from an early age through. It's not, and it just shows you it's not easy. It's not an easy thing to do, but there's such a great support structure there. And Holly, you got to be proud to continue that legacy with the Y.
I mean, it's all them. Like, we are just so blessed. It's such a huge program that it does not run itself, but because we have such a strong parent group and coach staff, and I mean, you can see what kind of a person we have leading this program, that it's true Y spirit at its core.
That's what I would say to other programs who don't understand why we have, and the kids will tell you, I don't focus on winning. It's about culture. If you set standards for kids, I think a lot of times now the bar is set very low for kids in terms of behavior and expectations. And I set it really high because I tell them, if I put it high and you miss, you're still going to get pretty far. But that integrity and values are what I value more than anything, and I don't expect it, I demand it. And not just from the kids, but from the parents. We have a wonderful, supportive group of parents, and you got to build the culture if you want to win. It's well documented that that's what winning programs have. It's a culture, and the kids then take the responsibility on themselves, so I don't have to hold them accountable anymore, and that's when the magic happens.
Congrats. Good luck. You're going to be great in life.
Oh.
You've already won, so good job. Congratulations. Holly, great catching up with you.
You too.
Call the Y.
Absolutely.
All right.
We won't back down. We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over. What exactly the United States does next is unclear. But what is clear is that we, as Canadians, have agency. We have power. We are masters in our own home. Nous sommes maîtres chez nous. We can control our destiny. We can give ourselves much more than any foreign government, including the United States, can ever take away.
Britain's King Charles was admitted to hospital for a short time on Thursday after experiencing side effects from cancer treatment. That's according to Buckingham Palace. The palace declined to give any details of the side effects, but a royal source described the setback as a, quote, minor bump in the road. The source said the king's recovery was continuing in a very positive direction and that he was in good form. The palace said he had returned to his home, Clarence House, and that as a precaution, his engagements for Friday would be rescheduled. The 76-year-old king has been undergoing treatment since he was diagnosed with an unspecified form of cancer in February last year.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks ended lower on Thursday, with the Dow and S&P 500 both dropping about 0.33% and the Nasdaq shedding more than 0.5%. President Donald Trump's mercurial tariff policies have created uncertainty on Wall Street and continue to fuel fears of a global slowdown. Ben McMillan is Chief Investment Officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors.
Generally seeing a lot of investors, repricing growth, repricing the AI trade, starting to favor more defensive stocks. And again, all of this is, directly tied to concerns about what the tariffs are going to look like. I joked to an investor earlier this morning that, markets don't like tariffs, markets don't like uncertainty, and markets hate tariff uncertainty.
Trump's plan to implement a 25% tariff on imported cars rocked shares of automakers. General Motors tumbled more than 7%, and Ford slid almost 4%. Shares of car parts manufacturers Aptiv and Borg-Warner also suffered substantial losses. But shares of Tesla were spared, edging up modestly, as investors bet the electric vehicle maker will be hurt less by tariffs because of its largely domestic production. Other movers included Lululemon Athletica, which closed higher but plummeted more than 10% in extended trading after the apparel company forecast annual revenue and profit below estimates as a refresh of its product line has failed to attract more customers. And shares of Dollar Tree jumped 11% as several analysts raised their price targets a day after the discount retailer said it sold its struggling Family Dollar business for about $1 billion. Investors on Friday will focus on the February Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, the Federal Reserve's favored inflation gauge.
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. From a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
How do you reassure people that what you all are doing is not going to affect their benefits?
No, in fact, what we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less money.
The United States has paused contributions to the World Trade Organization, 3 trade sources told Reuters. This comes as U.S. President Donald Trump's administration ramps up efforts to cut government spending. It is also retreating from global groups such as the World Health Organization that the administration sees at odds with its America First agenda. A U.S. delegate told a March 4th WTO budget meeting that its payments to the 2024 and 2025 budgets were on hold, pending a review, according to 2 sources. A third trade source said the WTO was coming up with a Plan B in case of a prolonged funding pause. The WTO has already been hobbled by a U.S. move in 2019 during Trump's first term to block new judge appointments to its top appeals court. This left its key dispute settlement system only partly functional. Washington had accused the WTO appellate body of judicial overreach in trade disputes.
From the financial details of Trump's pick to lead the US Securities and Exchange Commission to GameStop's crypto pivot, this is Crypto Weekly. GameStop shares were back in action as the company's move to hoard Bitcoin brought retail investors back to the meme stock. The video game retailer's shares rose 11.6% on Wednesday after it said it would invest in Bitcoin at a time when its primary brick-and-mortar business is struggling. However, shares dropped back over 5% in post-market trade. Paul Atkins, Trump's pick to lead the US Securities and Exchange Commission, has disclosed personal assets held jointly with his wife, and they're valued at more than $328 million. That's according to a Reuters analysis of ethics documents released this week. Trump tapped Atkins to oversee the $120 trillion US capital markets. His lengthy career defending industry and his extensive financial portfolio has sparked concern over potential conflicts, though. One senator this week asked for more details on Atkins' involvement with failed crypto exchange FTX, among others. Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial crypto venture will launch a dollar-pegged stablecoin. That's after raising more than $500 million from selling a separate digital token. The stablecoin called USD1 will be fully backed by US Treasuries, dollars and other cash equivalents.
Gold prices climbed back towards last week's record high on Thursday. Investors piled in after US President Donald Trump announced new tariffs on auto imports. The move escalated the global trade tensions, which have driven safe haven demand for gold. Spot gold had jumped more than 1% to $3,053 an ounce on the day. It was just a few dollars away from the all-time high it hit on March 20th. Gold is traditionally seen as a hedge against uncertainty and inflation, and it's risen more than 15% this year. One economist said US policymaking has caused uncertainties and driven gold's popularity. Trump on Wednesday unveiled a 25% tariff on imported cars and light trucks. It's due to come into effect the day after he plans to announce reciprocal tariffs aimed at the countries responsible for most of the US trade deficit. Some don't think the upward trend is over. On Wednesday, Goldman Sachs raised its gold price forecast for the end of the year to $3,300 per ounce.
The gold rush is on. Ben McMillan of IDX Advisors. The price of gold hit another record high today, something it's done multiple times this year. Give us some perspective on the extraordinary pace of buying.
Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to gold, the big change we've seen among the demand has really been the central banks stepping in, and this is post-COVID. And so when you go back and look at kind of, global central banks buying of gold pre-COVID versus post, it's literally orders of magnitude higher. And that's driven by not only China and India, but increasingly emerging market banks. And this is for kind of the host of reasons, moving away from dollar concern, safe haven concerns about tariffs more recently. Even when the U.S. moved to seize Russian dollar-denominated assets, that's when you really started seeing a lot of talk among China and India in particular. And those central banks started selling treasuries to buy gold. So this is very emblematic, I think, of kind of the times that we're in. And the central banks have really stepped up and driven these prices. And we continue to expect that trend to persist.
Can you compare it to the pace of gold buying in years past?
Absolutely. So when you look at kind of, if you go back 5, 10, really 15 years, central banks were buyers of gold, but not nearly at the rate that we've seen. A lot of the marginal demand for gold has been jewelry, India being a big component, ETFs have emerged on the scene. But when you get past COVID, and that's when central banks really started to collectively have concerns about fiat risk as it relates to the dollar, their buying of gold, like I said, went up orders of magnitude. So if you look for example, in the last couple of years, central banks have added, roughly 3,000 metric tons of gold to their reserves. And that compares to an annual average of about, 1 to 200 metric tons kind of from 2010 to 2021. So this is a demonstrative increase for the central banks. And let's also not forget too, central banks are big players, and these aren't, speculative traders or hedge funds or things like that. They are buying gold for the next 5, 10, 20 years. So again, this is a secular trend that, shows no signs of really slowing down.
Most investors know gold as a so-called safe haven, but I'd love you to drill down even more specifically as to what is driving this demand.
Absolutely. So when you look at the central banks in particular, globally, traditionally they've been very large holders of U.S. Treasuries, which of course is dollar exposure. And after COVID, where the U.S. literally printed, hundreds of billions of dollars out of thin air, and in fact, roughly 50% of all dollars in circulation have been printed since COVID, the central banks looked at that as purchasing power destruction of large parts of their reserves. And they moved to start selling those treasuries, those dollar assets, and buying gold. So it was quite literally the same safe haven trade for the central banks that you see a lot of investors doing now. And again, that's not a trend that we expect to reverse anytime soon, particularly when you start layering on all the uncertainty around tariffs, potential trade war escalations. The demand for gold among central banks and investors more broadly, including ETFs, is literally skyrocketing. And so it's primarily for the central banks. It's about preservation of their balance sheets, their capital, their reserves, and the concerns about the U.S. just simply printing too much money.
What's your advice to the average U.S. investor? Should they be adding gold to their portfolios even at these high prices?
Generally, we think so. And in a lot of the conversations we have with investors, of course, every investor is different, has different risk profiles, but gold is an asset that has been underappreciated for a long time. It's been, frankly, kind of a sleepy asset up until recent years. And we think we're going back to a period, much more like the kind of 70s and 80s, even without the hyperinflation associated with that period, or the elevated inflation, I should say. We're in a period where higher inflation is going to be the new normal, higher interest rates is going to be new normal, and we definitely think gold has a place in investors' portfolios, even at these levels.
Are there other assets similar to gold that you're recommending or that investors seem to be particularly interested in right now?
Generally, hard assets, commodities more broadly, again, are starting to look quite a bit more interesting. And this is for really all the same reasons. Commodities have historically in recent years in a zero interest rate environment have not performed that well. Again, with concerns about inflation globally, even concerns about dollar debasement, the broader commodities complex is starting to show signs of life. We think that's interesting for a lot of investors' portfolios. Hard assets in general, we're having lots of conversations about things like infrastructure ETFs, hard assets ETFs, even oil MLPs is an interesting one because it's got commodities exposure with a high yield component. Of course, you can't talk about this without bringing up Bitcoin. We caution investors that, yes, Bitcoin is very interesting in this respect, but it also comes with much higher volatility profile. So, think about that in the context of a portfolio. But again, when you start thinking about longer term plays to protect against fiat debasement or the devaluation of the dollar, all of these things we think deserve a look at investors within investors' portfolios.
Hopes of a new golden age for U.S. airlines are fading as worries continue to grow over the impact of President Donald Trump's tariffs on the economy. Major airlines including Delta, United, and American Airlines, which were flying high less than 2 months ago on strong travel demand, have since cut their first quarter profit forecasts. Rising economic uncertainty has forced tourists and companies to reduce spending. And with demand slowing, airlines have started scaling back the number of flights to avoid lowering fares and to protect margins. As a result, the S&P 500 Passenger Airlines Index is down about 15% this year and widely underperforming the broader S&P 500 index. Shares of Delta and United Airlines have each fallen about 20% this year. Some of the demand slowdown is due to recent safety incidents, but carriers expect the lag from safety issues to fade soon. They are less sure, however, about when economic pressures will subside.
Loretta Acosta is shopping for a new car at the Chevrolet dealership in Michigan. She's heard suggestions that Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on auto imports could drive prices higher, but she's willing to give the president the benefit of the doubt.
Feels like the end game is bring industry back to America. So, that's great for jobs.
Economists and the auto industry aren't so sanguine. Researchers at Cox Automotive estimate tariffs on parts could add $3,000 to the cost of a U.S.-made vehicle, and cars made in Canada and Mexico could go up by $6,000. If so, that's likely to put a dent in sales. S&P Global Mobility predicts total shipments could fall by 1 million or more units. And even if some automakers do move production to the U.S., that's not something that can happen overnight. For now, luxury brands aren't too worried. The likes of Bentley and Ferrari can probably just raise prices without putting off their rich customers. But lower-cost models built with tight profit margins could be hit hard. Experts say makers may respond by cutting back on features or even stopping production of some cheaper cars altogether. Georgia Tech professor Tibor Becerres says shoppers need to move fast.
If you're looking to buy a car, buy it quickly, because prices, as soon as the tariffs are imposed, prices are going to go up. I mean, essentially, the only cars that won't become more expensive are the ones that are currently on dealers' lots, because they've already paid for those. But anything else that comes in, the moment those tariffs are in place, those cars become 25% more expensive.
Right now, it's estimated that U.S. dealers have about 90 days' supply of cars in stock. That means prices won't rise immediately. But when that inventory is gone, experts say car shoppers look certain to face higher prices and reduced choice. The fear is that many Americans will find a new car is suddenly out of reach. Ernie Simmons owns an Atlanta store selling auto parts, one of the targets of U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff plans. His business, Aftermarket Auto Parts, relies heavily on imports from Taiwan. But Simmons says he's not worried.
As far as the tariffs go, I really don't have a problem with them. And the reason is, number one, I think that they're going to be temporary, because all that Trump is trying to do is make things equal. Whatever they charge us, we're going to charge them.
90% of Aftermarket's inventory is from Taiwan, according to Simmons, but he's optimistic that the tariffs will lead to a wider change.
I think there's going to be some pressure on us for a little while, but I also believe that these countries will come to the realization that they're not going to get a free ride anymore, and they're going to have to treat us when we export something to them the same way that we treat them when they import to us.
On Wednesday, Trump announced he'd make good on threats of new tariffs aimed at cars. He's planning a 25% import tax on vehicles not built in the U.S. to kick in next week. Then, duties on parts will roll out by May 3rd. Engines, transmissions, and electrical components are all identified as targets in a Trump proclamation. Vehicles and parts made in the U.S. will be exempt. While Simmons is brushing off the impact he'll feel, some experts say these tariffs could shake up the whole industry. Tibor Becerres, a professor of economics at Georgia Tech, says they create uncertainty across the supply chain.
Will there be a different administration 4 years down the road? They might do away with them, in which case they have to evaluate whether it makes sense to build a factory in the United States and then bring it online, and that might take anywhere up to 2 years. And then what happens if tariffs go away?
The tariffs, jumping from a current 2.5% to 25% rate on imported cars, take effect a minute after midnight on April 3rd on the U.S. East Coast.
Shares in Asian automakers tumbled again on Friday as fears mounted over a global trade war. In Japan, Toyota and Honda were among the top fallers on the Nikkei index, both down around 5%. It was a similar story in South Korea, where Hyundai Motor dropped around 4% early on. All that follows a down day for US peers in Thursday trade, when General Motors and Ford saw steep declines. The falls follow Donald Trump's move to impose 25% tariffs on all US car imports. Other countries promptly vowed to retaliate, raising fears that the global auto industry could be choked by tariffs. New Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney was among those promising to bite back.
We will respond forcefully. Nothing is off the table to defend our workers and our country.
Also looming over markets is the prospect of much wider US tariffs. Trump has said he will unveil a package of duties on goods besides cars on April 2nd, what he has dubbed Liberation Day.
Because we're going to be getting back a lot of the wealth that we so foolishly gave up to other countries.
However, after weeks of volatile policy making, it remains unclear exactly what is coming. IDX Advisors co-founder Ben McMillan says that kind of uncertainty is another big negative for markets.
You know, I joked to an investor earlier this morning that, markets don't like tariffs, markets don't like uncertainty, and markets hate tariff uncertainty. And I think that's just what we're seeing.
Now markets wait to see what retaliation is coming from America's trading partners and how Washington then responds in turn. In a social media post, Trump said he would hit Canada and the EU even harder if they teamed up to fight back.
Well, the forecast for today and the weekend, warm up a little bit. Cold start to next week, though. Cloudy skies, periods of rain this afternoon, thunder possible with highs in the upper 50s today. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday and this week. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday for the morning drill. Have a great weekend, everybody.